All right, so for the MetaCTF, your site is nb.oregonctf.org, and it should have your Odin ID as your username, and then the last 4 digits of your PSU ID as the password. So if you can go and make sure you can log into that site. I'm going to use the default credentials of GSE0 and the password of malware. There are 2 ways to get your program binaries. One is to bring up a browser on the machine that you're going to do the CTF on, and then just download it directly. So here is GSE0 malware. It logs me in, and then the download tab will specify I can specify what binary set to download. Just do chapter 1 and 2. As we go through these levels, you can skip the format string ones until the very end of class. I'll cover those separately. But do these sequentially as we cover the topics. And then I can just download this current set, and it downloads ch1-2.zip, and it's in the downloads directory. And then you can unzip this file. Well, let me make a directory MetaCTF first, and then move this into MetaCTF, and then unzip it. And then you get your binaries. And let's do the first one, ch1 readelf, and you can invoke this. And it gives you instructions. And all of these levels are the same. Your goal is to find the password that will get this binary to print good job, and different things will trigger it. Here it says you can solve this level in many ways, but definitely use the technique that we suggest, because it's trying to teach you that particular concept. But if you want to do an end around, do the end around and then go back and solve the level the way it's intended. So here I'm going to try and teach you readelf. Readelf is a utility for analyzing a binary on disk. And so here, readelf-a of this binary. One of the things that -a will do is it'll give you all the different section numbers of the binary. And we just covered the ELF format, and you're looking for a specific section that might have the password string in it. So which section might have the password string in it? If you remember. That'll have the code, the data section. So we'll do a readelf-a on that binary, find the data section, and then you can do a readelf-x of the section number and that binary to list the contents of the section that might have the password in it. You can also use the object dump-j. So -j, you can provide that with a section number to dump that section as well, or an object dump-s to dump everything in that binary in order to solve it. So that's basically what it's trying to get you to use readelf and object dump to manipulate the binary files on disk. So so let's Control C out of this.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
On the object dump, earlier you would type like OBJ and then you hit something and made all the different options come up.
Oh, man object dump, or if you just type object dump without giving it anything. Oh wait, sorry, I have this alias. Yeah, if you just type object dump without anything, it gives you all the header, all the flags that you can send it. Or you can do a man of object dump. Oh gosh, but not on that.
You did something earlier where it was just like 3 lines. Never mind.
Yeah, I forgot. But if you go watch the video again and find it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what key you were hitting though after you typed OBJ to make the. That was my question. Is what key?
I used was it tab completion?
Yeah.
It was tab completion, maybe. It was tab completing the file. It was trying to do a file system complete, I think is what it was. Yeah. So let's do a readelf-a of this chapter 1. So you see all these different section headers. You have so this is the name, type, address, offset, size. flags, etc. So you have an interpreter section, dynamic symbols, dynamic strings, again, the relocation information, the text segment. You have a read-only data segment, which might be a data segment we talked, and then a regular data section. So it may be one of those two. And so you can then identify which section you want to dump and then use the readelf -x section and say I want 16. And then there are some strings in here, and so maybe one of these are, is your password, like that. Okay, so that's the first level. You can also use an object dump. And you can see if you do an object dump -s, you get all the contents of these individual sections that you saw in the readelf. And then here, hopefully you can find something that might look like a string. So here are some strings. It'll interpret on the right, so on the left is the binary, the hexadecimal representation of the bits that you see, and then on the right is if they were interpreted in ASCII. And again, you can see in the read-only data section something that might look like a password, and that would be the first level. So getting you to use a tool to dump out the contents of the binary to navigate to see what's in them. You can do an object dump -s or an object dump -d of readelf to get the actual assembly code that's there. Eventually, you'll have some levels that will require you to do that. So this is just using the standard binary analysis tools to pull apart a binary to see what's in there, to see the assembly code in the data that's there. One of the things I should show you, if you're not running on the actual system you're reverse engineering from, if you're SSHing into a Linux machine and trying to work on a remote machine, then the way to download the binaries, I wrote this little Python script that'll allow you to download them directly from the shell. So I wanted to go through that in case you ever need it. Here is a recipe of a script that you can run to do this. The first thing is I'm going to create a directory called MetaCTF for the binaries to go into. I'm going to cd into it. And then I'm going to create a Python virtual environment. Because what I want to do is I want to install a bunch of stuff into my own personal copy of Python and not the system's Python. So Python allows you to create these virtual environments where you can install all the packages that you need into a private version of the interpreter. And this is what virtualenv is doing. And then I'm going to activate this virtual environment by doing a source env bin activate. And then in order for me to run the Python script, I need a couple of things from Python. And this is me installing some Python modules that I need for this, which is Python requests and beautiful soup 4. So that's what these two instructions do. And then I'm going to download the script that will download my binaries locally, which is this wget. So this is actually just going to go to my website and download this Python script for me to run to download my binaries. And you can see this is just a simple Python script for getting all of your binaries from the website. And the way you use it is to do the Python script, the site that you're downloading it from, which in this case is nb.org and ctf.org, your username and your password. And so then what I do is I do a Python and then nb.oregonctf.org, GSE0, and then malware. And then it's going to go and download all of these things without me having to launch a graphical browser to do so. So yeah, if you are SSHing into Linux lab machines to do these binary or to do these levels, that's what I would recommend. And then if you do an LS, you see all of the binaries are here. Then I can do the unzip, and then I can run the readelf binary. And then do I have it? No, I don't have the. What was the answer to my thing? Let's scroll up. Still. Oh, here it is, right here. And then I'll copy that. Oops. Then I'll paste it. And then I'll win. And then what you do is, you know that this is your password for this level. Now I can go back to the website and submit it. So I'm going to go here to solve. I'm going to go to readelf, and then I'm going to paste my answer. And then this is how I log that I have solved that level. And that's how your homework is going to run. Yep.
I don't really understand why. I'll ask you about that. Have a break.
Okay. Well, the break is now. That's all I have.